boy, are we going to have fun.
Join me for a marathon of Patty's Mexican table because any celebration calls for incredible food.
What a setting.
Isn't it? I mean, you cannot see another neighbor's house.
I like the house. I think you got a real diamond in the rough, and we're happy to be involved.
Oh, thank you.
If I wanted to change the world, I could do it through dance.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Who is the Dark Lady of Shakespeare's sonnets?
Let me tell you about Black Lucy Negro.
Based on the book by Caroline Randall Williams, a modern twist on a secret tryst. The Nashville Ballet performs Black Lucy and the Bard on Great Performances.
Friday evening at 8. Eric Clapton is one of the most talented and influential guitarists of our time. And when he shares the stage with friends, the result is a celebration of music for the ages. Eric Clapton's Crossroads Guitar Festival 2019. Saturday night on Montana PBS. Programming on Montana PBS is made possible in part by viewers like you, the friends of Montana PBS. Thank you. And by First Security Bank, serving Montanans since 1919. Find us online at www.ourbank.com.
I pray when I'm cutting, I pray when I'm sewing, I pray when I'm just tacking down the ribbon.
I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, and meeting Lisa, she was the same way.
That is our goal, is to reduce the lake trout so that we can increase habitat for and area for our bull trout and West Slope cutthroat.
The number of baskets in my lifetime, I'm going to say hundreds. And my baskets have gone all over the U.S.
I just like to show the community that style of cooking. There's nowhere else in town that I know of that does that style of cooking.
This University of Montana School of Journalism Production was made possible with production support from the Greater Montana Foundation, encouraging communication on issues, trends, and values of importance to Montanans, and by the University of Montana.
I love being outside. I mean, that's where all my inspiration comes from. I love listening to the water and listening to the trees and the birds and oh no, I love it. I love it. I like the process of being outdoors and cutting that willow, that fresh willow, because I can bundle it and then bring it home and store it. And I use it. I mean, I don't waste it. My name is Valerie. I've been weaving baskets for approximately 30 years. My story of how I first started weaving for the first time begins with wanting to take a class, so I put myself in the car and drove to Great Falls and began a 6-week basket weaving class, and I just fell in love with it. The process of beginning a basket for me would, the first thing is to determine, do I want an antler basket? Do I want to put a birch bark handle on it? Do I want to incorporate some of that willow that I've cut? So with anything, it has to have a solid foundation. Protection, I guess, for lack of a better word. So then I cut the reed and I work with the rattan plant. The first thing is to make the base, so I have to have a strong base. And then I put in the side spokes, and the number of side spokes will determine the design I want to put in my basket. They range anywhere from probably from start to finish product, anywhere from 3 to 15, 20 hours. It just depends on the size of the basket. Those bigger baskets are harder because the reed is thicker, so it's, I mean, there's a lot of pulling and tugging. So it's just repetitive, over 2, under 1, over 2. I started going to craft shows and people found interest in my baskets. I needed a name, right? And I wanted to not just have Valerie Weiss. I mean, I'm from Montana and I make baskets. So that's how Montana Baskets was born. I grew up in a generation where parents didn't talk about anything. I mean, you just left the past in the past. My brother was in a horrible accident. Brad and I and my new baby ended up down in a Billings hospital, and I walked into a room and saw a man that I knew was my father with 2 Native ladies that I had no idea who they were, and from that began my research. Here, lo and behold, you know, some months later, this paper came back that said, yes, you're eligible for enrollment in the Little Shell Tribe of Montana, and that, I think, happened in 91 or 92.
I know that it was deeply meaningful for her to find that piece of her missing heritage. It was challenging at times. There were times when you found out things that you say, well, why didn't anybody tell me about that?
Finding out about my Native heritage really answered a lot of questions for me. Why I was attracted to like certain sounds, music, art, because there was all this Native art that I was attracted to. And then from that I learned the baskets that the Larocks, the Little Shell people, they were basket weavers. Part of the Native American program through the Made in Montana program is it's a tremendous opportunity because people see my name on their website. My daughter Natalie is a bead artist, a tremendous bead artist. She and I do shows together. She sets up her beadwork and we'll work there, do beading during the show. I mean, we love talking about our art and, you know, them sharing their experiences, us sharing our experiences. So I'm looking very forward to the show in March. I did not grow up in a Native culture. I mean, everything I've learned, you know, has been through speaking to elders within the Little Shell Tribe, within the community itself. So it was really, really important for me, for my kids and my grandchildren to know their Celtic identity, their Norwegian identity, their German identity, and their Native identity through art. I think I will continue weaving and painting the rest of my life. My art experience for me is therapy. It is. It just calms my soul. It's just in my soul. It's who I am.
I want to be the restaurant where kids say, hey, Dad, that's where I want to go for my birthday. Or that's where I want to go for my anniversary. My name is Mario McCullough. The name of this restaurant is Big Chief Chinese LLC. When I get here, I usually get here around 9 o'clock in the morning. A lot of times I don't get out of here until 9:30 at night. So when I do work, it is 12 and a half hours straight. Barely take a break to use the bathroom. I do everything fresh every day. I do all my sauces from scratch and do all my batters from scratch and cut down my own chickens and beef, and it's just fabricate the food from scratch. A lot of people just don't do that anymore. They order it in prefabricated and then just warm it up to serve it. It's a real high intensive labor position. But I've been working long hours my whole life. I originally came to Browning because I was an enrolled member. My grandmother's full-blooded Blackfeet. And when I came up to visit, that's when I met my wife. So we would come up and visit for the holidays, and I kind of got a feel for the community. I was just getting sick of cooking for other businesses, and I just wanted to have my own place so I could get full credit for my accomplishments in my food. I was looking for a commercial location up here, and the lady said that she would sell me the business. She gave me about 30 days to come up with the money. I sold my boat, I sold my four-wheeler, I sold my food truck, I sold anything I could to come up with the money. I talked to a bank and I got a loan for $50,000 to remodel the property. I got a Native American grant. They bought my $7,000 walk. They bought a $5,000 freezer and a $1,200 fryer for me. I think God definitely had my back on this deal. I did Chinese food because that's what this town wanted. And when I purchased the building, I was like, well, I need to get some Chinese background. And then I kept looking and looking, and I found P.F. Chang's downtown Spokane, so I applied there and they gave me a shot for a cook. So that's when I cooked on the wok for 6 months and learned how the wok was ran and got a good feeling for how to make the sauces and the soups and everything. But I've got a lot of education and experience behind me in a bigger food setting. So if you go to another restaurant and see them as busy as I am, there's 9 cooks back there cooking. And I usually do it by myself with my son's help.
I do prep work, so that's just like if I just get all the vegetables and stuff prepped up, and I make sure everything's good to go before we open. And then I'm also a sous chef as well, so I know how to cook everything that's on our menu. I think it's just a good sit-down place, to come eat or whatever, or if you want like just takeout, or you just grab it and then go back to whatever you were doing. I think it's just it's a good environment, just good food. Good everything.
Yeah, moving forward, I'd like to keep this restaurant. This restaurant really is successful. It really generates a lot of money, and it's good for the community. Personally, I kind of get burnt out just cooking one type of food. It's almost like that movie Groundhog's Day. I come in, I make the same sauces, the same soups, in the same order every day. Well, what I want to do is Italian food. Italian food, it's in my blood. I was raised on that food, and I've cooked a lot of Italian food professionally. So I want to be able to offer the community a taste of my Italian food, because if they really like my Chinese food, then they're going to really drop over dead, when they eat this Italian food that I cook.
What we're doing is what's important for the tribe in trying to help sustain a bull trout population and a West Slope cutthroat population. The name of the business is Native Fish Keepers. I started the program in '98, and basically I've been here since then. The main fish that we are trying to suppress in Flathead Lake is the lake trout. When we started our suppression program, we wanted to use the resource but not waste the resource. And so we came up with a plan to do the processing and put our fish on the market. NIFKI is a nonprofit. Most of the money we make from our fish sales helps with our operating costs and creates jobs for people to come out and work in the fish industry. The crew was small in the beginning, and now our crew is up to 8 people at certain times. We have a large boat that we take out just about every day, and we set suppression nets. Our nets, sometimes we set a half a mile a net, sometimes we set 2 miles a net. And the next day we go out and we pull our nets and we pick our fish on the boat out of the net and put them in totes. We have another boat comes out and they'll pick up what fish have been picked the first couple hours of the morning and bring them back to the Blue Bay, the processing plant.
There's a history of manipulating the system that we're trying to reverse today to maintain our native trout. So we're working on a landscape level conservation project in which we're trying to maintain and restore native cutthroat and bull trout in Flathead Lake. Doing this is very expensive. So in 2017, we decided we need to do this perpetually, and we realized we needed to make these fish pay for themselves. So we began Native Fish Keepers, a corporation incorporated by the tribal government. And it is Native Fish Keepers that then independently oversees the marketing and sale of the fish that we catch.
We'll have an employee will take and count the fish. So once they've been counted, they'll take and they'll remove the heads from the fish. And once the heads have been removed, then we'll start feeding them through our fillet machine, which has 4 blades on the fillet machine. First blade cuts the belly open. Second blade removes the entrails. Third blade takes out the backbone. Fourth blade takes off the rib bones, and then 2 perfect fillets come out the end of the machine. Once we have a tote of lake trout fillets, those fillets will be put on a table, and there will be 4 people on the table pin boning, which is a fine bone that's in the center of the fillet, and trim off the tail, trim the belly fat off. And once that is put into another bin, another little tote, it gets moved over to our packaging machine, and each fillet will get individually packaged, put on the machine, vacuum packed, sealed, put on a tray, and moved right into the freezer portion of our process.
So this has been a long journey. It hasn't been easy, and not everybody has supported it. So I guess trying to achieve this goal has kept me going, and having been committed to this for so long and seeing some light at the end of the tunnel, we see significant reduction in the lake trout population, and we see the early signs of the native fish rebound. So that's all very rewarding, and it's a strong commitment that I'd like to see through.
Bull trout, cutthroat, whitefish, suckers, northern pike minnow, those were all food sources for native people in the area. So its significance to the tribe is very, very high. I mean, there are cultural sites on the lake that signify that our ancestors have been here and will always be here.
Lisa was doing candles in cute little cups, and I was into making art with beer cans. And one day she was sitting there doing candles, and it was just, we started trying it in beer cans, and it was just, just kind of like almost met in the middle. Hi, my name's Nolan Michaud, and our business is Sunshine Candles. So our inspiration behind starting our business, we left the Midwest and suburbia to come out to Montana to be able to kind of just get back to basics and be able to enjoy family.
Years ago, shopping for made in Montana products, I had a hard time finding things that were made here and not in China that represented Montana. So when we moved out here, I wanted to be an artist and work with my hands. So we started working with Big Sky Brewing Company and putting candles into their craft brewery beer cans. So they were pretty instrumental in helping us get our business off the ground, and then we branched out to other breweries and wineries, and now we're making our own labels on our own bottles and cans as well.
The can itself is, it's been used once, and then you discard it, but it could be reused again. My connections to, I guess, the earth and the environment, I see, ways that we have to, reduce what we're using, and also, find ways to reuse the things that we're using and the resources that we're using. When you think about Native Americans and their constant struggle to survive, I guess, you just have to constantly, take every opportunity that you have and make the best of it, because, there's all these things that we don't have control of, and we just have to learn how to, continue to exist in this ever-changing world.
We use high-end ingredients like soy wax and fragrance and essential oils, and we've done extensive testing with all of our products to make sure it's a good product that people want to buy. And the production takes place here in our workshop at our home, and I like to have the whole family involved, and it's grown so much that I can't do it by myself anyways. So Nolan helps with the shows and logistics and marketing, and we've got the kids involved with everything from creating labels to tagging and going to the shows as well.
Hi, my name is Kai Michelle, and my role in the business is packaging and putting labels on the candles. One of my favorite parts of helping with the business is being able to travel and being able to help my mom. It's nice to be able to spend time with her.
We've been doing the Made in Montana trade shows for about 10 years now. The Made in Montana program supports us pretty well. They allow us to come and do the trade shows every year, and so we gain quite a bit of wholesale business through that program and doing that trade show every year. We could use some more support as far as expanding our workshop.
People that have just discovered us, they sit there and just smell every candle, basically. It takes them a while to make a final product decision. The family aspect of our business is awesome. It goes, way above and beyond our business. The skills that our kids learn, I mean, they could take anywhere with them throughout their whole entire life. So, and outside of that, we get to bond together. We get to work together. We have a lot of crazy adventures on the road, going to shows and setting up and talking to people, and I'll put our efforts towards making a great product for people. And it's a lot of hard work, but we have fun doing it. So it's a great experience for our family.
What makes my art special? The fact that it comes from the heart. It comes from prayers, and it comes from giving to others, giving to my community. My name's Lola Whitebeard. I'm an enrolled Blackfeet member from the Blackfeet Tribe, and I live in Browning, Montana. My Blackfeet name is Iniskimauki, which means Buffalo Stone Woman, and my ribbon skirt shop, if you call it that, is called Iniskimauki Designs. I come from a family of sewers. My mom sewed, my grandma sewed, and I have an aunt who sewed and ran the sewing shop, and I worked for her a couple summers in that sewing shop, and she taught me a lot. Back in about the mid-1990s, I kind of quit sewing for a while, and one day I was out cleaning my shed, and I had 3 bins of fabric, and I was looking at it, and I thought, I need to do something with this. I got to get back into sewing, and I lifted up some native fabric, and I thought, ribbon skirts. I'll make ribbon skirts. You know, and I never intended to have it as a business. I just thought I'd use up my fabric and make ribbon skirts. And I can make, oh gosh, 20, 30 dresses a month. You take and you just measure out your ribbons on your fabric, the length that you want. Match them up. I always try to match my ribbons with my fabric, and then sew the strips first, the ribbons first, and then I sew up the sides of the fabric and fold over for your elastic and your hem and put the elastic in. It was a learning process for me to really get it down, because when you're selling or making skirts for other people, there's so many shapes and sizes and heights and widths, and so you kind of learn along the way. I make skirts, and I've made, they call them tea dresses. They're for ceremony dresses. I've made the tops and then a skirt with it. I make onesie sets for babies from 3 to 24 months. Probably a year and a half into my ribbon skirts, and one of my friends mentioned it to me. They said, you should sign up for the Native American Made in Montana. So I did. I looked it up on the internet, and then I applied for it. And I put those little round, they give you those little round native signs, that I put those on all my my skirts. And it's just that recognition that that my product is made by a Native American. Because when I cut out a skirt, I put this tag on them. It tells the size. I didn't apply for credit even when I started. I just used my own money, because it's always so hard to apply for a loan. It could be intimidating as a woman and being as Native American, you know, because people just tell you you're just going to fail. You're not going to. You only last a couple years, if even that. But I'm determined. I know I can do this. To me, my business means that I'm giving the opportunity for all Native, from babies all the way up, Native women, empowerment through ribbon skirts. Our ancestors wore ribbon skirts along with their buckskin skirts, their dresses, I meant, not skirts. And when you wear a ribbon skirt, it is empowering. It makes you feel so good about yourself. It's a whole different experience than putting on a pair of jeans.
At PBS, we know that even though kids might be out of school, their education is still a top priority. PBS Learning Media is a free platform that helps educators deliver and families access distance learning. With PBS resources that are aligned to standards and created by the country's top educators, it helps keep students engaged in learning. So wherever education takes place, PBS Learning Media